Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Action247.com, Tennessee's only sportsbook by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. And yes, football's over. We miss it. Before you know it, it'll be March Madness, NBA and NHL playoffs, hopefully the MLB. But there's a lot going on. There are parlays all week. So make sure to check out Action247.com. Look and see what some of those parlays are. But this Sunday, we're turning left. It's Daytona 500 day. Bet on the race. They'll give you 50% of your stake back if it doesn't hit. Only at Action247.com. Use code DADS100. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at DistilleryProducts.com. And if you're a bourbon group, a store, maybe you're a podcast or a distillery, and you want to buy laser etched glassware at wholesale prices, make sure to check out DistilleryProducts.com. They also have awesome swag like mirror and flasks and stirs and all sorts of good stuff. We use them for our glasses. You should too. Reach out to me and I'd be happy to get you in touch with Carson, Janie, Vicky, all the good folks. DistilleryProducts.com. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at Orca Coolers. And if you use code DADSEASON at Orca Coolers, you will save 20% on your order. And they just got those collegiate coolers in. I know, because I just got a 40-quart Kentucky cooler I'm so pumped about. You can get them too. They have all sorts of teams, NCAA teams. They have NFL teams. They have MLB teams. Check them out at orcacoolers.com. They have tumblers. They have those whiskey barrel tumblers. If you use code DADSEASON, they'll save up to 20% at orcacoolers.com. Okay, it's Valentine's Day, and we're spending the night together. I don't know if that says more about us or I don't know. But I know that you have a cold open that you have been itching to get out for Valentine's Day.
Well, I took some pills. She took the dogs, now it's all gone to hell. She's gone to her mom's, and I took up drinking since she took the time to tell me I took the best years of her life.
I think a dog just died. Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is the next American Idol, Zeke Baker. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. And you make fun of my singing. That sounded like a struggle. Did you make it through?
Because you think it sounds good. I know I sound like two cats in an alley mauling one another.
No, I actually don't like my voice. I just sing anyway. But I enjoy it. I sing like I sound like I enjoy it, but I am very self-conscious of my voice.
I mean, there's a reason I'm a big Kid Rock fan.
What I tell people when I played covers in bars, I said, what I lack in talent, I make up for in personality. That's kind of where I feel my voice is at. I almost made you spit up your drink. It was great. I got you at the perfect time. Oh, this is shaping up to be a great show, which I need. I have a lot of shit going on right now. My truck is leaking coolant. Want to give a shout out to my boy Ryan for helping me out with that. My computer, for a good 20 minutes before we were starting to do this, my computer wouldn't get past a total black screen. There's so much going on in the world right now. I'm flying home this week to go take care of my parents. And because of that, we're recording some shows on Valentine's Day so that we can get ahead. We have some interviews too, so we are not doing those tonight. But Zeke and I are going to record some fun shows. There's going to be another one. We won't tell you which one it is. You'll have to guess. But we're recording more than one show tonight. It is good to see your face, buddy.
I mean, I can't imagine any other face you'd rather see at 10:30 on Valentine's Day.
I can name about 500 that I would like to see before yours, but you are 500th on the list, if that makes you feel better.
501.
So I do have to talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was last night. I don't know how much you got to watch. This could have been a cold open in and of itself. I was stupid enough at 2:00 in the afternoon to order Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was told I had a pickup time at 6:10, which, yes, was in the middle of the Super Bowl, but...
You scheduled it ahead of time, or you literally ordered it at 2 and they told you be here at 6?
Ordered it 2 and they said be here at 6.
But it was like for immediate pickup, not like, hey, I'm going to come get this later. Cool?
Yeah, it was so many people had ordered Buffalo Wild Wings.
out of here.
Yeah, so then by the time that happened, though, I had already paid on the app. So it was like too late. I couldn't cancel.
I mean, I feel like a 4-hour wait time, you can cancel that. And if they give flack about it, you wait till Monday or Tuesday. But that's when you're bored at home or, during the workday and like, about time for me to lay into somebody's ass at customer service.
Well, anyways, I show up at 6:10 and the food's not ready. And there is one table in the middle of the B-dubs and a bunch of angry people wondering where their food is because they had the same problem I had.
If you ordered it too, you could have gone to the store, bought whatever in the hell it was you ordered, brought it home, and cooked it from scratch.
I know. I could have. I didn't have that time in my day, but yes, I could have. Anyways, so now I'm sitting at the bar by myself at the end of the bar. There are people around, but I'm by myself. My family's back home. I said I might as well go order a tall beer, sit there and watch the game. Thankfully, my family does not listen to this show. And by family, I mean wife. My father-in-law does, so he's not going to rat me out for this. But it was kind of nice to have a quarter to sit there and watch the game uninterrupted. So the second quarter, I spent at B-dubs watching the game by myself, drinking a couple of beers at the bar. It was a good time. And then I ended up finishing the game, watching it on mute outside of my daughter's bedroom in the playroom TV, making sure that she stayed asleep and did not come out of her bedroom to go get toys. So I went from really enjoying it to kind of enjoying it, like just watching it. I could watch it and know what happens without sound. But yeah, the end of the game, when everything kind of went down, I was just kind of sitting in silence.
I feel like this day and age, surely you could run like wireless Bluetooth speakers off your TV or that TV.
I could, but like that's a lot of work at that point.
It's wireless. It's Bluetooth. You hit a button.
I know, but how often am I going to be doing that? Like that seems like an unnecessary purchase for me.
Well, you have Bluetooth speakers. You use them with your iPhone all the time.
I know, but Well,
you just also sync it to the TV. I mean, you're the tech savvy guy here. I can barely take pictures. And if I'm telling you it sounds beyond easy, then we have really got some issues.
You have to buy special TV Bluetooth headphones. Like your regular AirPods are not going to work with your TV.
There's more than one type of Bluetooth?
Well, no, like you just have to buy TV specific because then you got to plug it into the output of the back of the TV and then it has an antenna. Like there's Bluetooth.
I'm with you now. Like I had to do that for the Cabana.
Yeah, so it's a purchase.
I ended up having a wireless speaker there, but I thought it was just because the TV we had mounted up there was like my old one for my condo.
No, it's a racket because they won't like you. If you think like they could enable TVs with Bluetooth capability, I mean, it's already kind of there because you can do the Apple Play where you can like my Samsung TV will take Apple and I can project from my Apple phone to the TV. If I can do that, why can't I listen on my headphones that compare with my Apple phone? Like it.
Well, I guess too, like sound bars, those are all wireless and Bluetooth now too, but I guess there's still the thing that comes off the TV that enables it all.
Yeah.
I assume. I haven't bought one in forever, but I assume that's how they work.
I mean, this is the deepest analysis you're going to get of the Super Bowl anywhere. And that is really how to hook up wireless headphones on the back of your TV, ladies and gentlemen. This has really turned into a dad dork conversation, but I do have to say, incredibly exciting Super Bowl, more than I thought. One of the prop bets was, would any of the quarterbacks throw over 300 yards? Neither one threw over 300 yards. Matt Stafford threw 283 yards and Joe Burrow threw 263 yards. If you look at the game, Stafford had 3 touchdowns to Burrow's 1, but he also had 2 interceptions to Burrow's none. Bengals came back really had a great second half. Thought that they were going to take command of the game. OBJ went down in the first half, and then you had Cooper Kupp, who just, dang, right? He stepped up.
It always amazes me, especially from a receiver position more than a running back, when someone like that just dominates a game, simply because that's where the ball's going.
OBJ's injured at this point, right?
Well, I mean, but too, like, it's a receiver. You can do zone, you can double man cover. There's options. I mean, a running back, you still have to worry about the O-line, the scheme, everything else going on top of their abilities. But a receiver, they're on an island. They're relying on their own ability, and that's it. And to know or not know, but I mean, you really do. That's where the ball was going to go. And it did. And it did. And it did. Like Jesus put 3 people on him. I wouldn't care. Let's make somebody else beat you. I mean, I've always loved that line. Like, make them do something else, throw to someone else, and someone other than who you thought was going to get the ball beat you. Don't lose that way.
So the interesting thing is Cooper Kupp had 8 receptions for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 11.5 yards per catch. That doesn't seem like MVP numbers to me.
How many were that final drive?
I mean, a lot. Where Matt Stafford went 26 of 40 for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Does Cooper Kupp just win the MVP out of default because Stafford had those 2 interceptions? If he didn't have the interceptions and the Rams had more of a convincing win, I feel like the MVP has to go Stafford.
He didn't do anything outside of what you thought. Granted, I think most people would have said, and there probably was a prop bet for this, I don't know, but Stafford throws 2 picks and they still win. I would have took the opposite. And, you know, Stafford's a Georgia boy. I'm with him. But how many of those 8 for Kupp were in that final drive? And, like, to me, that's where you earn your money. Final drive, 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. He got himself open. Yes, Stafford had to throw the ball. But again, you're a receiver. You're on your own. Like, you have to work and do it all yourself. And he did.
Amen. You know, on the other side of the ball, you can look at Aaron Donald with 2 sacks. Kind of the whole defensive line. They actually got in here. There were a good number of sacks in the game. You know, Ernest Jones had 1, Sean Robinson had 1, Leonard Floyd had 1. I mean, the Rams defense 6 times got to Burrow. So
yeah, I mean, the way it went down at the end, I mean, you and I are both linemen. We get it to a degree. And I've always thought that when you see a final play like that and it goes down in a sack, it's who wanted it more.
110%.
You know, in that huddle, all right, boys, we're beat, we're broke, we're tired. Suck it up, check yourself. Just give it one more. I need 5 seconds, 5 effing seconds to do my job. Can you give me 5 seconds?
And they couldn't. So they became the Bungles in the very but to be fair, I think at that point, the refs who relatively were not a part of this game. So it had even gone to the point where the man, one of the best announcers ever, Al Michaels, was saying in his last NBC game, because his contract's over, I think he might still do some stuff here and there with NBC, but I think he's signing somewhere else and is no longer going to be doing NBC. I think they're going to put Mike Tirico in his spot for Sunday Night Football. But Al Michaels called out the fact that the refs had been relatively quiet. And when they came up big, and they gave the Rams about 18 million tries to get it into the end zone with about a minute and a half left in the 4th quarter. And that was a hell of a time for the refs to wake up because they were letting them go. There were some calls there. Now, you could argue, right? The Bengals had, and I don't know if you saw this play, the Bengals to start the second half had this huge long touchdown. The receiver completely pulled the Rams cornerback he pulled the face mask. It was blatant. It was missed by the refs, but the refs decide to then start calling stuff right in the goal line with a minute and a half left. There had to have been 4 or 5 holding or pass interference calls.
No, I mean, that deep bomb was pretty hilarious, actually. I was like, ooh, I messaged my boys from school. I was like, I haven't seen the fish hook move since so-and-so took this girl home that time.
I don't even want to know. This is one of those ones I'm going to keep in here for you, but I'm not asking the question.
Yeah, I'm not going into more details, but no, I mean, that play at the end, and I mean, I think every commentator forever has always said it. Every player probably has too. Don't let the refs decide the game. If it's that bad, call it. If you don't know and you got to look to the other ref, or you have to ask, it's a game. Did they have the technology they have now? Way back in the day? Hell no. Did plenty of people probably get away with plenty of things? Yeah. That's because you were savvy and you were smart enough to know how to do it. And I got why they made the call, because 9 times out of 10, you can't see where the hand is. It's on the other side. And yeah, there's some pulling because that's football. And that's how you play the game. But for once, there wasn't any pulling, and the guy still got the flag. Like, go to the booth, look at the replay, do something, do due diligence. I'm sorry.
So where I will leave it, and then we're kind of at that halfway point where we got to talk about whiskey or people get mad at us. They might already be there, but
they get mad at you.
They get mad at me. 100% they get mad at me over you. I will just say my philosophy here is if it's a blatant pull or a blatant hold, and you see cloth of jersey being stretched, all right, you got to call that. Anything else, rubbing is racing at the goal line. You got to fight to get in at the goal line and as an offense, and you can't necessarily be handed it. And they were handed it in the biggest game of the year at the biggest moment of the year, and that's not right.
It wasn't as bad as remember that Saints game a few years back? That's still for me the worst ever. I hope all these refs got fired, and I would never wish harm on anyone or misfortune in life as far as losing a job. But when you F up that bad, somebody's got to pay the toll.
I mean, I say this truly as a person who did not care who won the game. Part of me wanted the Bengals because they haven't won in forever. Part of me wanted the Rams because, Stafford was kind of stuck in Detroit for so long, and it's kind of a way for him to redeem himself, which he did. But so I mean, there were pros and cons to both sides. I just didn't want to see the refs determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And the only tidbit I have there is they went out and they sold the farm on what they thought would get a championship. And they did. So kudos.
You having a bad hair day? You're messing with your hair a lot.
Oh, no, I took a shower earlier. I took a bath too. Oof.
Well, I am going to read a press release now. Yellowstone Bourbon debuts landmark edition bottles in celebration of its 150th anniversary. For a limited time, bottles of Yellowstone Select Bourbon will feature one of 6 different scenes from the park that first inspired the brand in 1872. So this is available now at retail. Bottles of Yellowstone Select Bourbon are at Limestone Branch Distillery. They feature one of the 6 famous park landmarks: Lower Yellowstone Falls, Old Faithful, the Grand Prismatic Spring, Minerva Terrace, Roosevelt Arch, and Lamar Valley. Yellowstone Bourbon was first introduced in 1872 to honor the park's remarkable beauty and pioneering spirit. Limestone Branch Distillery has continued the tradition of supporting the park through its ongoing partnership with the National Parks Conservation Association. Really cool. Limestone Branch has donated nearly $210,000 to the organization, and they're going to donate $1.50 to the NPCA for every bottle of Yellowstone whiskey sold, representing a guaranteed donation up to $30,000. These will be available nationwide at a suggested retail price of $39.99 until supplies last. And that's all I got to say about that.
The bottling is commemorative, but the juice isn't necessarily limited, rare. Any nuances about it that stand out? Did I gather that correctly?
Well, right now, Yellowstone Select is, it's 93 proof. This is 93 proof. It doesn't say anything. It says...
I think that's the normal MSRP. And I feel like if there was any kind of aged stocks in there, whether their own or, sourced, whatever, they would make light or note of that because, that's what you do for marketing.
Well, I think you're onto something there, Sherlock Holmes.
But I like the MSRP. It's the same, and they're giving a large portion of it to benefit something. It's easy to get behind.
I agree 100%. Why should we even review this? It's a great price. It's a drinker.
Well,
let's just call it a night.
There's times you'll be like, hey, here's this LE from so-and-so, and we're going to do great things with it. We're donating this money. And by the way, it's our normal product, but we're upcharging you because we're donating. Well, you're not donating shit. You upcharged. I mean, you're donating, but you know what I mean? You take anything out of your own pocket, or you taking my donation?
Well, and even if they added $1.50 though for the donation from every bottle, I don't think anyone could complain. It's not like they're saying, "Hey, we're tacking on $10 here." It's like, no,
but I mean, it does exist from time to time, and if that doesn't chap your ass, then something's wrong with you.
I agree. It is the regular Yellowstone. We have talked about that on the show. I will just say super big kudos to Limestone Branch for putting out a solid drinker at that price. I mean, we talk all the time that $30 to $50 whiskey is that big category that I see a lot of growth in. I see a lot of brands wanting to live there. I think it's harder and harder to find that sub 30 drinker in certain places. We're lucky that being, in the Kentucky, Tennessee area, that we're able to find a lot of those good bottled and bonds that are under $20, or Old Tub is still plentiful at 22, Early Times bottled and bond, Old Bardstown bottled and bond, Everett William bottled and bond. Then you have the JW Dant, JTS Brown, all those kind of things that range that gamut at about 100 proof. We can get. Some people don't have good drinkers the further you get from that epicenter, or they have them and they're priced a little bit higher.
Or at least for me personally, I feel like, if I had to pick maybe 5 non-big name distilleries that are, doing their own thing, but also still kind of younger, Yellowstone's in that top 5 for me. It has been. We've talked about and tinker with the idea of trying to, get with them and do a pick. And, I feel like, to me, when you talk to, I guess, like kind of the right people that get into things, nerd out, look towards the future and who's doing things the right way and putting out a good product at a right price, like Nate with 5280 out in Colorado.
Yep.
When we were at KBF, he and I and Fonte and Steve Beam and a few other guys sat around, had cigars and bullshitted for, an hour and a half. It's one of those things where when you see the right people that know folks and show their support for them, you just kind of get that feeling of like, all right, this is one of the things I need to keep my eyes on. They're going the right places in the right direction.
Yeah, Nate is really close with them, and we respect Nate a whole hell of a lot. That definitely had us all perk up, and we all made sure to spend some time around the table with them. At that point, I had already twisted my knee. So
Big Cat down.
Big Cat went down because Big Cat wanted to wear some boots and some muddy grass.
Hey bro, I'm across KBF. We got you a cigar. Hey, bleep. Not bro. My knee hurts. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Have fun. Smoke one for me.
We got notes on this? You want me to lead, bud?
You go ahead and lead. I'm going to refine my notes.
Oh, wow. Hope it's a nice comb.
Terrible joke, by the way. Hope it's a nice comb.
Yeah, like a fine tooth comb. Refine. And we all know you don't have hair, so it's what else are you using a comb for besides your back?
My front.
It's Valentine's Day. Jesus. Oh. So on this one, I really thought like right away the char hits, but then it also quickly yields to a nice sweet corn that comes in behind it. Upon revisiting this a couple of times, I felt like the corn even had a little more diversity into it with some, peach or pear type fruit. In the mid, I don't get heat, but I get a very good spice. It's a nice turn. It seems very balanced. The viscosity works up. And yeah, there's times, like I say, initially right on, the char kind of hit, and then it really does a 180 into some sweet. It does show youth at times, but it's really more of an accented flavor than it is a nuance. And I don't know how much, time they did or didn't spend into the barrels and blending this, but I thought it came out really damn well. And for what I would assume is a somewhat younger product, it's, layered or folded in or however you want to think of it nicely, to where you do get a lot of different, notes or accents. If you're a person that likes to say you check the boxes, this checks most of them. Some of the turns are a little harder than maybe the most like ideal dram ever, but end of the day, $39.99 and a nice portion goes to charity. I have no qualms with this whatsoever.
Agree with you, by the way, on the age on this, the regular one, and I don't know if this one in particular is the same, and I should look here. It says distilled and aged in Kentucky, bottled by Limestone Branch. The Yellowstone Select is a blend of 4 and 7 year bourbons.
Yeah,
typically.
Some of their own and some sourced, right? And or finished cast, right? When the last one finished we did?
Yeah. It could be the same kind of thing there, but I think you're right on the sense that, and you didn't mention the nose, I got a fair amount of corn on the nose as well. That sweet corn, not necessarily a popcorn, not a candy corn, like a caramel corn, but it was like sweet corn, that sweet yellow corn that you would eat off the cob.
Yeah, I didn't nose this. I just took it out of the Boston Round. It's Valentine's Day. Treat yourself.
I know you didn't. That's why I wanted to make sure I mentioned the nose. But you're right. There's a smoothness in the front of the palate, and then the spice really kicks up, but it doesn't kick up until midway through my tongue. The front of my tongue is still light and airy. to the sense of it's not tingling or burning right now, where the rest of my tongue really has that spice burn. And
Yeah.
I think it's the char mixed with the rye spice that really kicks it up an extra notch when it hits there.
Well, I even got a little bit of what I equated to almost like a malt fizzy kind of feeling in that mid, kind of up under that spice. I think that's what gave me the viscosity out of it. It's a funny thing to describe, but you know what I mean? Like with Whoppers or whatever, that kind of get that fizzy feeling from the malt ball, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of was there on the bottom layer of the tongue. I'm like, oh, okay. I get into that. I'm a malt fan here.
I completely agree. You know, I was saying I think there's a spice, I think there's some char, but overall, for the price of this, for the fact that it is a limited offering, for the fact that some of this is going to park conservation as well, it's a no-brainer. If I see this out in the wild, I'm getting another bottle. Easy.
What's the front label like of what this in us? Because I haven't seen it. Assume like it's aesthetically nice on the eyes, right?
Yeah, it's a good looking bottle.
Nice looking bottle, still old school, cognac-ish shape, embossed glass. You could have that on your bar cart. People ask a couple of questions. They drink it neat. They're going to like it. Ice, they're going to like it. Cocktail, unless it's me making it, probably going to like it. That's a very utilitarian bourbon, I think.
I think that's a great way of putting it. That, you know, and I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, it's good in a cocktail, but I think it's versatile. I think it is the athlete. If you're looking at it in college recruiting, it's a 3-star athlete. It's not the higher level Yellowstone that's the 4-star athlete. That's the limited offering, the true LTO. But it's a very solid 3-star athlete. It's versatile. It could play on either side of the ball. It could be neat. It could be in a cocktail. You can have it on special teams. I don't know what that is in the equivalent in the cocktail world of what special teams would be, but it could be on it. It could kick return, punt return, whatever you need it to do. It's quick. It's got good hands. You'd enjoy it.
Sounds like a good Valentine's date to me.
On that note, I'm going to let Zeke spend the rest of Valentine's with himself. You can find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. We're both an in for this, so thank you to Limestone Branch for sending us this whiskey to try. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
And if Steve and or Fonte listen, hopefully one day, probably spring or summer, we're going to try and get our asses up there to see you guys. We promise.
I won't twist my knee this time.
But for now, you can always find us in good old Music City, USA.
Cheers.
Ciao.